As I record this, it is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. We're talking about Bicentennial Park. But before I welcome you to this episode, I just wanted to let you know that on my way to Bicentennial Park today, I saw Mr. Freeze opened. It's a sure sign that spring is just around the corner. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 85. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. Like I said, today we're talking about Bicentennial Park. Bicentennial Park is a city park, and it's tucked back into a neighborhood across the street from Frank Elementary School. It's very close to Mr. Freeze as well. The address for your GPS is 200 Mark Lane, Perrysburg, Ohio. This may be the only park in Perrysburg with 3 different entrances. You can get there from Mark Lane, Marie Place, and Queensland Boulevard. When I visit, I almost always park at the Mark Lane entrance. Good news, if you drive to the park and you have a disability placard, accessible parking spaces are available. My favorite thing to do at Bicentennial Park is use the walking path that goes around the perimeter of the park. There's also another path that goes kind of in the center of the park as well. The perimeter path is half a mile long and it is made of crushed stone. All the paths at Bicentennial Park are made of crushed stone. My family made some really great memories at Bicentennial Park when my younger son Derek played baseball there. He's 19, almost 20 now, but when he was in probably first or second grade, his PABSC baseball team practiced at Bicentennial Park. They had games there as well. If you would like to use the baseball diamond at Bicentennial Park and schedule your time there, or if you'd like to schedule some time on those open fields for other sports like soccer or lacrosse practice, contact the City of Perrysburg's Director of Public Service. I'll have their email address and phone number in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. I'll also have a link to the Bicentennial Park page on the City of Perrysburg's website in my show notes as well. Thank you, as always, to Marie Dunn, the City of Perrysburg's Public Information Officer, for keeping up the good work on the Bicentennial Park page on the City of Perrysburg's website. On the Bicentennial Park page, you will see the phone number and email address for the City of Perrysburg's Director of Public Service. And to learn more about baseball and softball in Perrysburg, visit pabsc.org. That's pabsc.org. Spring's just around the corner, and I am sure that practice will be starting soon. What else is at Bicentennial Park? We already talked about the walking paths, the fields, and the baseball diamond. There is also a small basketball court with a single hoop. To call it a basketball court is kind of an exaggeration. It's more like a concrete pad with a single hoop. In my experience, it is a great place to play a game of horse or pig with your kids. It's not very big, but it's good enough to shoot around. There are picnic tables at the park. There's a playground with equipment for preschoolers and kids ages 5 to 11. There are drinking fountains and benches near the playground equipment, too. Now, if you haven't been to Bicentennial Park for a while, you need to check out the playground equipment. It's new. The old metal slide is gone, and they have newer, safer equipment in its place, and it looks modern and fun. There are swings, slides, climbing equipment, and musical features, musical instruments, you could say. There is also a single porta potty. It's one of those large, handicap-accessible porta potties. It's over by the baseball diamonds. I should have mentioned it when I mentioned the baseball diamond. Looking around the park, there's also a picnic pavilion or an open shelter house, whatever you want to call it. There are 4 picnic tables in there. I believe there used to be a grill, but I went there tonight and I did not see one. When my son Derek was in high school, he graduated in 2023, the high school cross-country team had a pasta party at the Bicentennial Park Pavilion. It's plenty big enough for a cross-country team. The kids had a great time, and it was a really nice day for an outdoor pasta party. If you would like to have your own picnic or Pasta party at the Bicentennial Park Pavilion, just stop by. It's available on a first come, first served basis. No reservation needed. Now for some random facts, and then I'll wrap this episode up. There are some small grassy hills at Bicentennial Park. Your kids might like to roll down them on their bellies. If they're really small, they might think they're great sledding hills, too. It's safe to fly a kite at Bicentennial Park, so feel free to bring your kite out to Bicentennial Park. But watch out for the trees. There are a number of mature trees at Bicentennial Park. As far as scenery inside the park, who are the neighbors? What will you see? Well, Bicentennial Park is inside a very quiet neighborhood. So as you go around the perimeter, go for a walk on that crushed gravel path, you'll see a lot of backyards. And that does it for the features of Bicentennial Park. If you are interested in going for a walk, visiting a playground, playing baseball or softball, or having a picnic, you will like Bicentennial Park. That does it for episode 85 of the Perrysburg Podcast. You can find the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. In the show notes, you will find a link to Bicentennial Park on the City of Perrysburg's website, a list of the other parks previously featured on the Perrysburg Podcast, a link to PABSC, just in case you want to learn more about baseball and softball in Perrysburg, and more. Every link that you might need is on perrysburgpodcast.com. If you would like to be notified by email each time a new episode of the Perrysburg Podcast comes out, sign up for the newsletter on perrysburgpodcast.com. I will send you an email every week. You can also subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Go ahead and share this episode with your park-loving friends. Thank you for listening today, and I'll talk to you next week.